Hello and welcome everyone, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. It's your boy the engineer and this is Kerbal Massive Engineering. So I was working on several projects recently, but it's never too late to come back to the Blackbird. I wanted to test how high could you fly on an airplane using only the jet's engine. To do so I have created the cruiser. The cruiser is basically a wing and an engine. It's very light, very slow as well, but it will prove the theory. How high can we fly in a stable flight without running out of, basically fuel. And there it goes. It has several of control surfaces, so I'm gonna let MechJeb control the flight. And as I said, it's rather simple. Just engine pre-cooler and a Raber engine. That's it. Delta wing. Let's give it a go. Okay, I'll set Bill Kerman. I have faith in you. MechJeb. 45 degree. Go. So, smooth takeoff, and off we go. Whoa. Alright. I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank you all guys for your support and assistance on the channel, motivating me and keep me always going. I've been working on improving the production rate and the upload rate. I've added a new RAM model and a graphic card in order to, have a better visual graphics just for you guys. And let's see how well it goes. And in case you didn't notice it yet, yes, I'm using a new microphone. Finally, I got myself a microphone which actually works. Okay, let's ramp up the speed a little bit here. The airplane started shaking because we're losing the speed. By the way, it's very important to build your wing in a swept wing formation like this in order to reduce the drag as much as possible. If you have a normal swept wing or the huge wings, you will find out that it's causing a lot of drag which would slow you down. So right now we are reaching our cruising altitude. The engine is almost shut down. It's going at 50 kilotons per second. And the funny thing is we are not using fuel. As you see, we spent over half of our fuel just for the takeoff, but with the remaining fuel, we could go around Kerbin 2-3 times. We actually should slow down. Alright, so we're cruising. Pitching at 2 degrees would be more than enough. We are spending 0.10 fuel per second, which is, a lot less than what you would spend normally on an airplane, but that proved the point. So we are cruising at 24 kilometer above the ground at a speed of almost 1100 meter per second, and we are not using any fuel at all. Now let's go back and see how would it go with an actual airplane, a heavy one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Blackbird. Yes, I have rebuilt the Blackbird again and I've made it, it's a little bit better than before. It have the correct shape this time. And I'm using Whiplash engine. Those engines present a turbo ramjet engine function, so at a low speed they spend a lot of fuel, at a high speed they produce a lot of thrust with less fuel. I'm using procedural advanced adjustable landing gear, so we will have some suspensions on the ground. I've added some wing strake to make it look better, and it's totally balanced. Alright, pre-check, pre-flight check. Lights on, brakes off. See, those tires are awesome. They are having powered engine, so as you can see, it's a little bit difficult, but yeah. We'll line up with the runway. Blackbird ready for takeoff. There we go. Okay, birdie birdie. As you can see, the suspension is working very well. The nose is a little bit up and the back is down. That's because the airplane itself is heavy. Let's activate all of our pitching control. Alright, full power. So the Blackbird, again, with basically the Blackbird is the highest altitude record and the fastest airplane ever built. With the fuel I've got here, and based on the based on the analysis we've made, this airplane should go around Kerbin at least twice, because right now we are spending 1.5 liquid fuel point per second, but once we reach our high altitude we would be spending less than a half point per second, and we would be going at a speed of 1200, maybe even more. I've put in the cargo bay some radiators to keep up with the heat while we are up in the atmosphere. Okay, ramping up the speed, and we will have a pitch of 3 degrees. Once we reach our optimum speed, we would be able to keep up with our altitude. Actually, 2 degrees. Yeah, this is rather good, rather fast. We are moving at Mach 3, actually Mach 4 by this altitude. We should slow down, otherwise we're gonna burn out. Okay, so back to our optimum altitude. 50% throttle, and there we go, we're cruising. So we are spending right now 0.80, 0.90 of liquid fuel, and as you can see we are going almost at 1000. Once we climb up a little bit more, we would be able to achieve the best we can do with those engines. Those engines are very efficient at high altitude, as they would be able to keep up with the drag. You see, we have a bit of drag on this design because it's not the best. Okay, so right now we are moving in a very stable speed and very stable altitude. As you can see, we are coming up 10 meters per second, and we are moving forward by 1203 meters per second, and we're spending only 1 point of liquid fuel per second. And this is why the Blackbird was able to achieve such achievement. It's because of its engine. Those engines at this altitude are providing each 100 kiloton of thrust. So based on this, I'm guessing we will go around Kerbin twice. If you notice, we have spent half of our fuel just for the takeoff, but once we finish the takeoff and we reached our cruising altitude, there is basically nothing left. And Bob Kerman's very excited. He just doesn't realize that he might not make it back and land in the base. Now, of course, with such a gliding slope, we are having the pitch at 2 degrees, and it's very stable. Our radiator is able to keep up with the heat, so the airplane would not burn out. And the engine didn't burn out, that's the most important part. Alright fellas, as you can see, we are coming back on the other side of the planet, and the sun started shining. Fuel status is, well, rather good. See, we've spent barely 100 units of fuel and we are already at the other side of Kerbin. Again, it's a very efficient way, and it's even better if you want to build an SSTO. Just climb up to such a high altitude and deliver your payload from the cargo bay. In such a way, you would only need 700 or 800 delta V, and you will make an orbit, because here, first, the drag is very less. Second, you already have an initial speed of 1200 meters per second. So with this airplane, well, you could just deliver satellites. So with the less weight we've got, right now our fuel is 900 units, and with that we are gliding rather better than before. We are spending only 70 points of fuel per second on a very stable flight. We are climbing merely 2 meters per second. One more thing, it's important to notice that at such high altitude you will need a lot of air intake, and especially pre-cooler. Now the pre-cooler doesn't have a config or a status telling you that this would work on a high altitude, while other air intake would not work on a high altitude, but it just do the job. Secondly, use the shock cone intake because it has a better heat resistance. And the diverted, I think this is modded MK1 divertless supersonic intake. It hold enough fuel and it deliver good amount of airflow even at such high altitude. The engine nacelle here is, as you can see, is merely useless, I'd say, and the pre-cooler is doing the most of the job, and the shock cone intake. Alright fellas, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and don't forget to hit that like button if you did, and subscribe for more videos coming up soon. I'll try to upload a video every 2 or 3 days maximum, as I'm stepping up the games here. I'll add more games soon as well, and I would like to hear from you guys. What do you think? What should we do next? What's the next project will be? Until then, stay tuned.